Hey guys, happy 2014. We saw Thor the Dark World today.
2014?
Yeah.
Oh, because they fucked up.
I don't know when that came out actually. It might have been 2013. Anyway, yeah, we saw Thor Ragnarok. It's pretty dope. It was the funniest Marvel movie so far, in my opinion.
I agree too. It's not my favorite, but it is the funniest.
No, it's not my favorite either. But yeah, it's definitely the funniest. And I won't even say it's a better comedy than the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, because they're better, like, well-rounded movies. But like, this movie is just so rapid fire in its delivery of all of its jokes.
If you just want fun and funny, then this is the perfect movie.
Yeah.
If you want fun and funny with a touching story, then I think Guardians 2 is the best one, with Guardians 1 coming up right behind that. But yeah.
Now, this is the Thor movie that I can finally say I've always wanted and I got, finally. Like, the first Thor movie, you know how that was. While they're on Asgard, it's like this super serious, like, Shakespearean shit. And then they drop him into New Mexico, and it's this just generic fish out of water story. It didn't really work for me.
It felt too superhero-y, actually. Like, it felt too much like a 90s superhero film.
Right.
Like the ones that are, I'm sorry, not 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, it did.
It makes a difference.
It did feel like one of those.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Spider-Man, but it did it wrong.
Right.
Because the first two Spider-Mans are still really good.
Yeah, those are still great.
Even the third one has some entertaining.
I don't hate the third one.
I can't unironically say that it is.
It's not a good movie, but I don't hate it.
I'm mad I saw it in theaters. I'm not mad that I saw it, though. I'm mad that I paid full price to see Spider-Man 3. But that's not what we're talking about.
You didn't. Your parents did.
I'm mad that they paid full price for me to see it.
I remember going to see Spider-Man 3 in the theaters, and I was not old enough to be mad about having to spend money on a ticket yet. So,
I'm mad for my parents.
But anyway, oh God, Jesus,
we'll cut that out.
Scared me.
Or leave it in for jokes.
What was I talking about?
Going back to Thor Ragnarok.
Well, no shit. But where? Where do we begin? It's a beautiful film. Oh yeah.
Well, let's talk about what makes this different. Let's talk about, specifically, like, the character, like Thor.
What about him? He sucks.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
In the previous two films, it's not, the Thor movies aren't even really about Thor.
Oh yeah, I was talking about the first one, and then I was going to move on to the second one. Then we got distracted. Yeah, the second Thor movie, it's less. It's more of what I wanted from a Thor movie than the first one, but it's still just, it's not right. It focuses way less on the Earth stuff, which is great. But it's this weird mishmash of sci-fi and fantasy, and that it doesn't mesh well for me. Like, when they're on Asgard, it feels like a fantasy story is happening, and that's fine. It's Thor, Norse gods and shit. And then they throw in the Dark Elves, and that's a fantasy thing too, but the Dark Elves in that movie are like, they're presented like aliens, like with this high-tech, sci-fi spaceships and stuff.
And it's not hard to do badass elves, because, like, Tolkien did a heroic version, and if you want a villainous, yeah, that's the word, villainous version, then Guillermo del Toro and Hellboy 2 did really kick-ass evil elves, but or an evil elf, whatever. But Thor 2 made it like they're kind of elves, not really.
Yeah, it was still pussyfooting around this whole, Thor's this bridge between sci-fi and, he's our link to the cosmic side of the Marvel universe.
Guardians felt more like a cosmic link.
Well, see, Thor was supposed to originally be their cosmic link, but it's Thor.
It fell flat.
It's way less sci-fi than some of the other Marvel properties. So it's really weird that Thor was their introduction to the whole sci-fi, quote unquote,
space in general.
Right. But regardless, since then they have absolutely fixed that problem. So it's not even that's not even an issue anymore.
Yeah.
This movie blends sci-fi and fantasy perfectly. Whenever they're on Asgard, it feels like fantasy again.
It feels like Lord of the Rings half the time.
Right.
I mean, oh my god, I'm not gonna spoil too much of it, but Heimdall's whole plot line felt like straight out of like a Tolkien-esque.
Yeah, it did.
It was so. It was.
We'll
really
get into
badass.
that later, actually.
Okay. Are we doing a really spoilerly filled one?
Yes.
Or? Okay.
And then they'll have like these Guardians of the Galaxy style aliens step on screen, and you totally buy it because it's not portrayed as these are also magical beings that just happen to be outfitted with like this sci-fi gear and guns and shit. No, these are dudes from an alien planet. They just happen to be in a Thor movie. I can't really explain why it works so much better, but it just does. Also, this movie takes itself way less seriously than the other two Thor movies did.
It feels like the Asgardians are their own alien race, and their alien race's thing is fantasy.
Right.
It feels like they're like fantasy-based humans, but like they're interacting with other aliens. So it's like Asgard itself is fantasy, but it is fantasy within these interacting with these alien worlds.
Right. And this is, in my opinion, the first time that it didn't feel at least a little bit jarring.
Funny enough, they tried to blend it less. It was less half fantasy, half sci-fi, and it was more, this is fantasy on this corner, and this is sci-fi on this corner. And funny enough, they didn't blend it as much, but because of that, it felt less jarring. It felt less like they're trying to make two things that don't fit well together.
I really think the whole 80s flair helped blend them together, too.
Yeah, I mean, Guardians kind of has that late 70s, early 80s flair. Thor kind of has a more late 80s flair.
Thor has a...
Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo doing the score.
Thor has a more synth-heavy feel to it, style of 80s movie.
As opposed to like rock.
Right, think of Thor as more of a over-the-top action comedy 80s movie than
like a
Guardians
space opera.
is. Right.
Guardians is almost Star Wars.
Right, but Guardians doesn't feel like it's trying to emulate an 80s movie. Guardians feels like it is a modern-day movie with 80s jokes in it. You know what I mean?
80s element, like 70s music, but like also like 80s. I guess there's some 80s music in there too. It really is turn of the decade kind of stuff.
Right, you know what I mean though.
No, I know what you mean.
This Thor feels like it's actually trying to emulate the feeling of watching a sci-fi fantasy 80s epic.
I'm gonna be honest, the Marvel universe slowly takes on these retro, like Spider-Man kind of went like 80s high school movie.
Kinda, yeah.
They said that they made the cast watch several John Hughes films before.
Yes.
If they start just taking the 80s in general, I'm not gonna be upset about that. Like if they just make,
oh yeah,
that could be their aesthetic.
It was
different.
Awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a different kind of 80s vibe.
Yeah, like you said, you really like the soundtrack in this movie?
Yeah, Mark Mothersbaugh did it. He's been scoring for music for a while, but he was also the lead singer of Devo. And I think it's funny that the lead singer of Devo and the lead singer of Boingo Boingo are Mark Mothersbaugh and Danny Elfman.
And they're both doing movie scores now.
Yeah. Although Mark Mothersbaugh's 80s influences are always really like obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of embraces it, whereas Danny Elfman kind of has put his Boingo days behind him.
This movie had a really fun villain too.
Oh yeah,
it's not something I can normally say in a Marvel movie, but yeah, this was a pretty good villain.
Cate Blanchett plays Hela, the goddess of death, and she chews the scenery. She's hammy, but She has like these like smart ass comments that she throws in, and they're just beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, where she's like, "Who are you?" to Scourge, and Scourge is like, "Well, my father was this, my mother," and she goes, "I'm gonna stop you right there." She literally says that, and then
yeah, like she's actually threatening too.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what her powers are. Like she has the ability to throw however many knives she wants that are whatever size she wants them to be. It just depends on how she feels at the moment.
Her power is knives, but like the most knives.
Right. But yeah, like she can single-handedly take on an entire army and just doing these crazy flips and shit, and oh, it's a joy to watch. The action scenes in this movie, they're some of the better action scenes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Can I say something I like in it too?
What?
The first... Okay, I don't remember the first movie too well. But, like, I felt like it was more, like, Loki stealing the show kind of thing. Even in Avengers 2, Loki is more popular than Thor as a character.
Yeah.
Even, like, and in Thor 2, again, Loki's death scene... I don't know. This one
Loki's not really in the first Thor that much.
What am I thinking of? Well, maybe I'm thinking of the second one. Where... Well, anyways, I'm saying... This movie felt more like they focused on Thor himself, in him, like, his own development and his characterization.
Right. They do, which is funny because this has the most characters from a Thor film.
Thor still felt like a main character more so than he did in his own previous films.
Yeah, he's not going around fucking with Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings and
this is
Bill
also
Skarsgård.
Probably the best Hulk film I've ever seen too. It wasn't even a Hulk film.
You like this better than the Ang Lee film?
Yeah.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I got to say about Thor. Disregarding spoilers. So, yeah, 3, 2, 1 spoilers ahead. Oh, if you're watching past this, you better click away or go watch the movie unless you don't care, in which case I'm going to go ahead and spoil all of it. All right.
Thor dies. No, I'm joking. He doesn't.
The movie starts off, Thor is like in the underworld, and it immediately sets the tone right off the bat. He's like, "Oh, hello, I'm Thor. You're probably wondering how I got in this cage. Well, I'll tell you." And he's talking to a fucking skeleton sitting in the cage with him. And God, what's the god's name? Surtur?
Yeah, I'm almost certain it's Surtur.
It's a essentially god of the underworld, but I guess Norse version. He's Norse Hades.
But he's not the god of death.
Right.
Because that's Hela. He's the god of what happens after you die.
Right. It's complicated. It's Norse.
It's. I don't get nice. I get Norse.
So Thor fights that guy. It's a pretty cool fight set to the Immigrant Song.
I love that line when he says, like, he's like, "Thor, son of Odin," and he goes, "Surtur, son of a bitch, you're still alive."
Surtur's played by Clancy Brown, by the way.
Yep. His mocap, however, is done by the director, who also plays another character who we'll get to.
Yeah.
The best character.
So Thor fights the guy and steals his crown. So he takes it back to Asgard and puts it in the throne room. Once we get to Asgard, we find out that something's up with Odin.
I mean, if you've seen the last Thor film, you know he's Loki in disguise.
Oh my god, it is so obviously Loki, and it is hilarious. Like, this is how you know Anthony Hopkins is a great actor, because
he's playing Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, I totally buy that. That's not Anthony Hopkins. That is Tom Hiddleston in Anthony Hopkins' body. It's fine.
But yeah, as soon as he sees Thor, he goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah. well, he's watching this play.
Oh God.
He's watching this play, and it's totally like a meta retelling of the ending of Thor 2. The chorus even does the same song that was like the score of Thor 2. It's the scene where Loki dies, supposedly, and it turns out Loki's played by Matt Damon.
Yeah. Let's just... Sam Neill is playing Odin. Luke Hemsworth is playing Thor. Chris Hemsworth's brother. But then, like, like, you see both of those actors, and you see, like, Thor cradling this... Or fake Thor cradling this fake Loki. And then it cuts to fake Loki, and it's just fucking Matt Damon with, like, a really bad wig.
One of the best jokes in the whole movie, too. Because it's like... It takes a while to cut over to Matt Damon's face, so you don't know right away that it's Matt Damon as Loki.
It's like a double punch. Like, you get hit with the fake play, and you're like, oh God, Loki's making them do this play and making him a hero. And then it cuts to Matt Damon's close-up, and it's just amazing. And then... It takes you a second, you're like, I know that. It's Matt Damon, oh my God.
And then Luke Hemsworth's horrible impersonation of his brother going, no! Anyway, Thor reveals to the rest of Asgard that Odin is actually Loki. So Loki takes Thor to Earth, where he left Odin, in a retirement home. Doctor Strange shows up, and
yellow gloves.
What?
I heard people were pissed off about that.
Why?
Because they don't like fun. I don't know. I loved his yellow gloves. They felt so comic booky.
Yeah, they're just yellow gloves. What's their... All right, we need to have a talk. Why do you guys just love to bitch? All right?
No.
Comic book fans love to bitch about stupid shit like gloves. Get over yourself. Watch Thor. Have fun. Stop bitching about gloves. Anyway, Doctor Strange shows up, and he helps Thor and Loki find Odin. Tells them that he's in Norway, just kind of chilling on a cliff. So he sends them there. They meet up with Odin. Odin dies. It's very sudden. Just kind of fades away.
Yeah.
That was a...
It's probably the weirdest scene in the movie.
That was a scene.
We call that a big-lipped alligator moment.
Yeah. And then Cate Blanchett shows up. And
she's
holy
all
shit.
like, Odin's dead. Time to fight.
Yeah. She's
just, as soon as Odin dies, she's like, I'm on.
Yeah, like that was what she was waiting for the whole time. So she fucks shit up. She breaks the hammer.
She breaks Mjolnir.
Mjolnir. Fucking yeah, I forgot to mention that Heimdall got fired for treason. So now Karl Urban's in charge of the Bifrost.
Playing Scourge. Oh my God, Scourge is hilarious.
Yes.
He's showing off his collection of things he's collected from the 9 realms. And he's like, he picks up 2 M16s and he's like, I got these 2 from a land called Texas. and he's like, I call them Des and Troy. Together, they are destroy. He thinks he's so much cooler than he is. I didn't even realize it was Karl Urban the entire movie.
Really?
Now that I think about it, it's like super obvious.
Yeah.
But it's because when I think of Karl Urban, I think of Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
Who, like, oh my God, they said Mega City 1. That's the Netflix series that's going to be a sequel to the movie.
Oh, really?
I think that's confirmed.
Cool.
I'm not entirely sure, but like the director said yes, and Karl Urban said yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I want the one girl to return too, because she played a really interesting character.
The one girl to rule them all.
The psychic. Judge Anderson, that was her name. That's the character's name. I don't remember the actress's name.
Judge Anderson.
Okay, sorry. But yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, they fight Hela. Hela kicks their asses.
She displaces them.
Yeah, that's why I brought up Carl Urban. So they go back. They get shot back up to the Bifrost trying to escape from Hela, but she comes after them, and midway through the beam, she throws Loki and Thor out into space. So they're just kind of drifting off into space. Hela gets back to Asgard and promptly proceeds to fuck shit up. She
gives this huge speech about who she is, and then somebody says, "Whoever you are, we're gonna take you down." And she goes, "Did you hear a word I said?" And it was just perfect.
She fucking obliterates an entire army all by herself, and then recruits Scourge as her right-hand man.
She's like, every good leader needs an executioner.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Thor wakes up on Sakaar, and we are introduced to the Grandmaster. Fucking Jeff Goldblum is great in this movie. He is, I mean, he's playing Jeff Goldblum, but that's what I wanted. I love Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I looked it up. I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The director,
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. He said that a lot of the dialogue in the film was improvised, and Jeff Goldblum did not stay on script once.
That's awesome.
I think Jeff Goldblum's completely... He, like, read the lines and then just completely did it his own way. And, of course, Waititi?
Taika Waititi.
Okay, Waititi. I was just going to try to say his last name because it's too hard to say his whole name.
Okay.
But Waititi was, like, rolling with it because he's, you know, a good director and he knows a good actor when he sees one. And that one joke, I never quite got it, but I don't think I needed to because it was just awkward as shit when he's like, on any other planet I'd be 1,000,000 years old, but here, and he just kind of suggestively looks at Loki and Thor, and they look at each other like, what the fuck is going on? He just stops mid-sentence and looks at them like he's drunk or he wants to fuck him or something.
I was wondering that about every single character in this movie, just how much of their lines are improvised, because I honestly can't tell. Some of this shit seems like it's so off the cuff, but I mean, Marvel movies are just, the humor in this is just so fucking different.
Yeah. It's just so, like, it doesn't feel like jokes. It feels real almost.
Yeah.
It feels like people are just talking.
Yeah. It feels like
Thor especially. Thor is, like, definitely, he bounces off of everybody.
Chris Hemsworth has great comedic timing.
Like, when he's like, what's the big deal? You've been on a planet before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Bruce Banner's freaking out. He's like, I'm on an alien planet. And Thor just says, well, it's a planet. You've been on a planet before.
Oh, can we talk Valkyrie a bit?
Well, hold on. We were getting there.
Sorry.
So yeah. Where were we? Yeah, that's right. We meet the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum. Fantastic role. Great. Thanks.
Before that, we meet Valkyrie, actually.
Right, yeah. Before that, we meet Valkyrie. Valkyrie picks up Thor as soon as he lands on Sakaar. She's a scrapper. She just goes around searching for people to sell to the Grandmaster to fight as contestants. You had something to say about Valkyrie.
Oh, I was just saying I really enjoyed her character.
Oh, yeah, she
felt
cool.
like Sif, but like an actual character.
Yeah, she's what Sif should have been.
Yeah, Sif kind of fell short because Sif was like just a badass action girl kind of.
She got shafted, I think.
Also, the actress was unavailable to return.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Hmm.
But I think it's fine because Valkyrie...
She probably would have died anyway.
Valkyrie is like probably the biggest drinker of the MCU.
Probably.
She's drinking in every scene and it's like alien heavy Asgardian ale. The first scene we see her when she picks up Thor, she's drunk off her ass. And she completely falls off her spaceship. And she's like, hold on. But yeah, I thought she was great. And I loved her interactions with Hulk in the beginning.
Yeah.
Where she's like, hey, big guy. And he's like, oh.
Hey, big girl.
It's kind of adorable.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about the actual fights and stuff? Or, he meets Korg first. Yeah,
that's right. He meets Korg. Korg is played by the director. This voice.
It's his voice? I looked it up. He based that off of Maori, which is like, Maori is, God, I hope I'm getting this right, kind of the native New Zealand people. Mm-hmm. He says he based that voice off of like bouncers that he met that are Maori, because like there's a lot of Maori people who take pride in being large and strong, but you know they're still nice people all the time. So he says he'd meet a lot of bouncers in New Zealand that are Maori, and they would be like really huge, but they'd be like really soft spoken. And he says he based the character off of those interactions.
Yeah, Korg is such a lovable character.
Oh my god.
He's this big rock guy. He's like the Thing, but blue. But he has a New Zealand accent and just like the most soft and non-threatening voice you can possibly imagine.
If you've ever he speaks it's like his accent, it goes in hand with the way he speaks. Like the humor is like New Zealand humor.
Yeah.
Like it's like Flight of the Conchords-esque almost.
Yeah.
It's like you'll like when they just say something that's like kind of out of the obvious, or like when he's like he's like, this weapon's a wooden pitchfork. I guess it's not really useful unless you're fighting a bunch of vampires that are real close together.
Yeah.
That's like a Flight of the Conchords-esque joke. Like it's just that's another thing I love is in this.
Well, also the director is a New Zealander, so it makes sense that.
I think it's definitely that kind of humor.
Yeah.
I just think. The one thing I really like about this movie is that there are so many funny characters, but they're so funny in different ways.
Yeah.
Thor is like a lovable dumbass.
Yeah, he's lovable. He's charismatic, but god damn, he's stupid.
Hulk is caveman humor almost.
Yeah.
Valkyrie's drunk half the time. Korg has got that New Zealander, like, Cloud Cuckoo Lander kind of.
Yeah. And Loki's
such a smart ass.
Yeah, he's just sick of everyone's shit because he's the only one with any sense.
He's so sarcastic, it's hilarious. And then, Kate Blanchett's character her humor is definitely like, I'm surrounded by idiots kind of thing.
Because she is a great villain.
She is.
She is one of the MCU's strongest villains.
Honestly, it's not even a complaint. It's just something I wish is that we saw like more of her in the movie. Because it did feel like...
Well, I want to talk about the rest of the movie, and then I want to talk about something pertaining to that.
Okay,
actually. Cool. But yeah, where were we? We're on Sakaar still, right?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Thor.
Before they even fight, he just meets Korg.
Yeah.
And they're talking about. Oh, I love this too. They're like, because I wasn't expecting. I've seen the trailers and stuff, but I didn't think too much about this movie. And I went in, and they were like, Thor was like, "I'm gonna fight the champion, because if you fight the champion and win, you get free." Mm-hmm. And Korg's like, "Oh, he killed Doug," and it's like this huge. He killed Doug, Not that means anything. But it's like, you think it's like a huge thing. Like, who's he gonna fight? Is it gonna be a reference to the comics? Is it just gonna be some cool ass alien? It's the fucking Hulk! I didn't even, think about it.
You didn't know?
Well, I didn't, I knew they fought.
Right.
But I didn't.
But you weren't expecting the Hulk at that moment?
I wasn't expecting the Hulk to be the challenger. Mm-hmm. It makes sense now but I'm glad I didn't think about it too much. And then everyone's just ready to see this new guy, Thor, get ripped to shreds by this contender. And then as the Hulk comes out and Thor yells, "Yes!" And everyone goes dead quiet and he goes, "I know him! He's a friend from work!" And it's just... Everyone just stares at him like, what the fuck?
Right.
And Loki's like scared shitless.
Yeah.
He's in the audience.
Loki says, I need to get off this planet.
He's just sitting in the audience like shaking, looking at the Hulk.
Oh yeah, so while Thor is essentially being sold as a gladiator to the Grandmaster, Loki has become buddy with the Grandmaster and is sitting right next to him on a big comfy couch watching this fight.
Oh god, and Hulk picks up Thor and starts slamming him around, and Loki stands up and goes, yes, that's how it feels!
Yeah, I mean, the fight between Thor and Hulk. The fight between Thor and Hulk is great. Sorry. I had to shake my leg a little bit.
Oh, I understand. Anyways, Thor pretty much wins, but then, the Grandmaster intervenes and does a little tasey-tase on Thor so he can't fight
Thor
Hulk.
gets tased a lot.
Oh, and we see the first of Thor using his lightning abilities because he no longer has Mjolnir.
Yeah, he doesn't have his hammer anymore, which, as Odin explains, the hammer does not give Thor his powers; it just helps him channel his powers. So now he has like this crazy lightning ability, but it's completely unchanneled and it's just raw power.
He's like Raiden.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Anywho, he kind of has this. He starts fighting with Hulk, like not fighting, I mean more arguing.
Yeah, this was I really liked it too. That this was one of the I think probably the first time that we've actually seen Hulk think about things. Like when Hulk steps out into the ring, and you can tell he recognizes Thor and doesn't want to fight, but then he looks back at the
crowd shouting Hulk, Hulk, Hulk.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And now Hulk is talking too. So he's gotten way smarter since the last time we've seen him.
And Thor and Hulk are they're arguing. Mm-hmm. They're going back and forth. And then Thor and Hulk Thor does that whole we're not so different, and it kind of works. I mean, Hulk is like we the same. I like fire, you like water. Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, and then
because I feel like in the past movies that had Hulk in it,
he's a mindless monster.
Yeah, he wasn't really a character.
Now he is.
Yes, Hulk is a full-fledged character now, and he's a different character from Banner. Yeah, they're two different characters, and
Banner is scared shitless to be on an alien planet. I really
like both of them now, because before I couldn't say I like Hulk. Mm-hmm. I liked Banner, and I like the shit that Hulk did because he's cool. Yeah, but now I actually can say I really like both of them.
Yeah, you know how I felt about Hulk.
Yeah,
I really liked Hulk in this movie.
Yeah.
This is the first time I liked Hulk in any form of media.
I like when Hulk is actually allowed to talk, because
I have not read Planet Hulk, but I hear that was the comic that started having him talk too and stuff. Yeah, they pulled a lot from Planet Hulk too.
Which is funny because I remember watching Age of Ultron in the theater, and at the very end when Hulk was flying that Quinjet away, I made the joke. Watch, he's going to fly that into space, and then they're going to do Planet Hulk in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Well, it didn't happen in Guardians of the Galaxy, but damn it, it happened.
And it happened well. It was a perfect matchup.
Anyway, yeah, after Thor and Hulk fight, Thor goes around and decides he wants to put a new team together, and he wants Hulk to join. He wants Valkyrie to join. Actually, yeah, those are the only three he picked, was him, Valkyrie, and Hulk at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So Valkyrie doesn't want to. Hulk doesn't want to because he wants to stay, on Sakaar because, he's living it up there. And same with Valkyrie. She's got this tragic past that she's running away from. So yeah, they got reasons to not want to join Thor, but Thor's charismatic and lovable, so eventually they change their minds, and then we get the fancy breakout sequence.
Oh god, the chase scene.
Yeah, they arm Korg and all the prisoners. So they're starting a revolution at the same time that Thor, Valkyrie, and now Banner, not Hulk anymore.
Loki tries to betray Thor, and he gets him with the taser thing, but then leaves it on so Loki can't move.
Mm-hmm.
And all the revolutionaries find him, and Loki just is pretty much like, here's my getaway. Korg is super polite to him, too.
Hey, I'm Korg. Gonna get on this spaceship. You wanna come?
Wow, what does Loki say? He says something like, I'm your new master, or something.
He says, well, you do seem like you're in desperate need of leadership.
And Korg goes, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, they all escape on a big spaceship, and Valkyrie, Banner, and Thor escape. They get back to Asgard. Heimdall has rounded up most of the citizens of Asgard and hidden them away in like some underground chamber. Hela is looking for the sword that Heimdall also has on his person. So, God, what was the sword going to do or something? It was like a key to something. I don't know. She needed the sword for something.
It's like a key to the Bifrost.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's Heimdall's sword that he's been using in the past 2 films, I think.
Yeah. And the sword's a key.
And Scourge has been using it in the beginning, but Scourge completely... She was like, where's the sword? And Scourge is like, oh, I left it here. Yeah. And it's not there anymore. And he's like, fuck.
He just forgot about it. Shit. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So, all of the... Yeah, Hela finds them, and she gets the sword. No, she doesn't. That's not what happened.
She demands... She rounds up all the Asgardians, and it's like...
On the bridge.
Yeah, and they finally give up the location of Heimdall. Am I saying that right? Heimdall. My bad.
I'm just trying to remember, like, the events in which shit happened. I'm sorry.
It's cool. Well, they come back... Oh, they come back just as they find Heimdall, right?
Yeah.
And it's on the big rainbow bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Road.
Yeah.
There's a big wolf.
The fucking... As Heimdall is evacuating the Asgardians on the rainbow bridge, the Hellhound, whatever it is...
I looked it up. It was like Fenrir, the hound.
Fenrir?
Fenrir? Yeah.
It might be Fenrir. Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Because in Norse mythology, Fenrir is a wolf that's supposed to bring upon Ragnarok.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So Fenrir, the wolf, is blocking the Bifrost so that, the citizens of Asgard can't escape. So Dr. Banner, seeing that bullets are doing nothing to this wolf, he jumps out of the ship and lands on the rainbow bridge with a huge plop. He just kind of ragdolls around.
Oh god, it would be horrifying if it wasn't hilarious.
Right. Oh my god. Like realistically his body should have exploded, but whatever. So that obviously brings upon the Hulk, which
show you who I am.
Kind of sucks because Banner said earlier in the film if the Hulk comes back, Banner might not.
Oh, he's got to.
I mean, of course.
But it might take a long time.
Of course, he's going to. But
yeah, at the end he was still Hulk.
Yeah, at the end he was still Hulk. Also, Thor didn't give a shit. I don't think he feels guilty about Banner at all.
He was definitely like, he's like, no, I like you better. And he's like, but in a fighting situation, Hulk is really good.
And Banner was like, well, Dr. Banner's really good too. Thor says, is he though?
That was funny.
So, yeah, it turns out that Hela is actually powered by Asgard. So, like, as long as she's on Asgard, she's essentially going to be unstoppable. So, the only thing logically to do is to destroy Asgard. So, they go and get the crown from Surtur, and they put it in the eternal flame to resurrect him.
I love that he just came back and he was like, Asgard shall tremble, and nobody is in there.
Right, and he doesn't even know. He's no idea.
He's too big.
Yeah, this dude is like the same size as the rest of Asgard. And he's just flailing his sword around, trampling on things, having a fucking blast, destroying everything.
Destroys Hela.
And he's just shouting, die, 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 Asgard! Like, you know, all this evil shit. And no one is there. It's completely evacuated.
Valkyrie looks to Thor and she's like, well, as long as we don't interfere, it's all good, right? And then Hulk jumps towards Surtur. And it's just like... And then, like, Thor's like, Hulk, no. And he's like, but big flame monster.
So, yeah, Surtur kills Hela.
Fucking destroys Asgard.
Yeah. Asgard just completely gets obliterated.
They float away in a ship, and Korg says, from the supports are still there, we can build Asgard anew. And then the entire planet just collapses, and he goes... Never mind, it's all fucked. Well, he doesn't say that, but the PG-13 of that.
Yeah, I mean that's the end of the movie. After
yeah,
that.
It's pretty amazing.
I will say I think it's really fucking weird that they killed off Hela, because
it was a very Disney death. If they wanted to bring her back, they could.
They could.
She's also you know.
I'm gonna talk about something for a minute here. In the Infinity War, the reason Thanos does everything that he does is to impress...
I thought that was a different death, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at.
Sorry.
The reason he does everything that he does is to impress Lady Death, who is the Marvel Universe's version of the Grim Reaper.
Mm-hmm.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't think they would do that. I thought that they were going to put Hela in place of Lady Death, which would have made perfect sense. I mean, especially with the time frame that this movie was coming out right before Infinity War.
Yeah, there's only one more, Black Panther, right?
Right. So...
Well, I'm looking it up, and it says that this movie is pretty much the most setup of Infinity War we're going to get.
Right.
So I'm wondering if... Maybe you're right. Maybe they are doing... Maybe they're going to bring back Hela, or maybe Thanos is, like, driven more because of the death of Hela?
Maybe. But then again, I would have liked to see Cate Blanchett and Josh Brolin interact as Hela and Thanos.
Well, A, we can get flashbacks, and B, again, she could still be alive.
Right. I mean, she's a comic book character. She's probably not dead.
She's also the goddess of death, so if anyone can come back, it's her.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird. They did show her dying. Well, at the same time, she's a god, so a god dying just means fading away. Which, in a comic book movie, fading away doesn't mean jack shit.
I'm just going to say, her death scene... I don't even think it was a real death scene. It showed Surtur's big-ass... Was it a hammer?
It was a sword.
a sword came down on her.
Right.
And that's all we saw.
Well, no, I mean, as it came down on her, she exploded into a green puff.
Oh. Oh, that could easily just... She's teleported before in the movie, though, hasn't she? Or she's appeared and there's been green smoke.
In the very first time she showed up in a green smoky portal, but this looked very different from that.
I'm just saying...
You know how Odin looked when he faded away?
Mm-hmm.
It looked like that, but green instead of yellow.
I'm just saying it's very possible she's still alive.
And I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, I thought that they were going to not even give us a fake out death.
Mm-hmm.
Just, kind of straight up say she's still alive and she's coming back.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. Not really a complaint. It was just an observation. I just thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Thor Ragnarok's a bitchin' good time. I think you'll have a blast with it. The only real complaint that I can see people having with it is maybe that it's a little immature. If a straight up action comedy isn't really what you want out of a Thor movie, I don't think you're going to get much enjoyment out of this one. Also, if the Marvel movies have been a little too lighthearted for you as of,
I'll say this. I personally had a complaint about Marvel's lightheartedness, but my complaint was more specific in movies that they were trying to go hard on emotion, but they would undercut that emotion with jokes, and it would just feel kind of tacked on. This is a comedy.
Right.
If you don't like comedies, then obviously you're not going to like this, but this is an action comedy.
Mm-hmm.
The other Marvel films are supposed to be action movies with some comedy. Winter Soldier, love that film. Love it to death. A lot of the jokes didn't feel natural to me.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal whatever. But everything in Thor Ragnarok felt natural.
Yeah.
So if
you can get behind a crazy action scene going on with Thor fighting the god of the underworld or whatever, and then it will cut back to Karl Urban with a shake weight. If you can get behind shit like that, this movie's for you.
Yeah. If you don't take this film seriously, you're going to have a good time, because it does not take itself seriously.
Right. Turn your brain off. Have some fun. Go watch Thor this weekend. Everybody, good night.